morning, good evening, friends across the anime verse. My name is Jesse, and I'm joined here tonight by Ryan and Z, and that's it. Nobody else.
Wow.
Nobody else
get in here.
I'm just sweeping. Don't mind me.
I'm just kidding. We got the Senpai and the Kouhai, who totally do not have their own podcast. We will definitely not shout them out at the end of the episode.
How are you guys doing? What Jay is trying to say is, how are you guys doing?
It's so tsundere. It's so cute. it's so cute when he acts this way. So desperate. Just for that head pat. I love it.
He wants the head pat. Absolutely.
Trey and Steven from the Senpai Kouhai Podcast, whom we have never talked about, obviously, ever. Is here tonight.
We just bully you guys. That's absolutely.
There's not a bitter rivalry. If it seems like that, I don't know where you're getting that from.
Nah, probably all the fabricated scenarios I'm putting on Twitter at you guys.
It's this false propaganda, these attacks that just keep happening. I wake up and it's just another attack launched by this publication.
Look, you are also the one that got on our fucking Twitter and said puts on chapstick after someone accused them of sneaking them into a closet and kissing them. I want you to realize that.
I just wanted to know if I need to be prepared for all three of the chaotic Pubcast guys to be in there or not.
Look, you turned into Steve Buscemi from Adam Sandler's Billy Madison. Like, you're just putting on the lipstick. Let's go.
I'd like to shout out my buddy Dustin for insinuating that we lock people in closets and and I did the nice thing even at the end of that commercial I made. At the end of that commercial, I put a disclaimer that we do not really think you're online bullies. Because I didn't want to tarnish
they totally are online bullies.
That's all good.
Disclaimer. Putting that disclaimer makes it
only on a personal level, maybe. On a public level, we're not. But on a personal level, you don't want to see me. You don't want no part of this.
Look, I'm the senpai, but that doesn't mean I'm not, pardoned from the abuse that he gives out. So,
in all actuality, we do love the playful banner with you guys. And at the same time, we've learned a lot from you, and you guys have been there for us starting out. So I appreciate it. Jay might not.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Put him on a pedestal like that.
It's been fun, except for Jesse. Golly, man, that guy.
So this gets me into it's clear to me that you want to talk about how this actually started out, our relationship, and I want everybody to know that it's not nearly as like pristine as like mentor and apprentice, that sort of thing. Basically, Senpai got really drunk and showed up in the Chaotic Pubcast Discord and just started talking about podcasts for like a solid hour and a half against everyone's will.
He does that with anime too. That's how I got roped into this. I don't even like anime. I'm here against my will.
Shut up. Get back in your closet. You know your place.
Is that why he's surrounded by a cage right there?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's a chest-high wall, like in Souls.
You may think this is for my son, but this is for me. I can't get out.
So the truth is, somewhere back in like probably like I want to say like 2018 or so, Trey and I worked together at a retail establishment. Without going into details,
that was like after your 60th birthday, or
look at this salty motherfucker.
Look at him. Okay.
Jesse was there too. Well,
guys would be here if I wasn't here.
Look, Jesse, Trey, and I all worked at a retail establishment that established in some beds and some baths and
some things beyond.
Absolutely, where Christopher Walken hangs out. About 2018, Trey, Jesse, and I worked in let's just be real, a Bed Bath and Beyond.
So much
I don't know if we gave it away, but the fact of the matter is we all kind of came together through a mutual love of anime and manga, more manga for me, but anime in general. Like I believe actually my first conversation about anime with Trey and Jesse was about High School of the Dead and how somebody shot a sniper bullet through some tits that were wiggling.
That is one of my favorite scenes in anime ever.
I think me and Jesse, we had
our
Legend of
story
Zelda.
is funny. Oh no, our story was funny. The way I met Trey.
I told whoever was training me, and I don't remember if it was Steven or not, and I was like, they kept introducing people to me. Like, yeah, this is the person for this area, this person for this area. Now, there's just one person, Jesse. You'll meet him another time. And I was like, I don't want to meet another motherfucker in this store. There is way too many people in this store.
I think I was out for the summer. It was a college time, so I was out for the summer working at my home store, and then I came back when the semester started.
He was mythical. I never saw Jesse until he finally came back.
It's kind of funny because the cadence that you said that, Trey, was just like, I'm so motherfucking tired of these motherfucking people in this motherfucking Bed Bath & Beyond.
But the funny part is, I remember when I came in back and there's we have our walkies and stuff, and I'm here and I'm like, oh, we got a new guy, and he's like cracking all these jokes on the walkie. I'm like, oh, he think he's a funny guy, huh? I was like, I don't like him. I'm the funny guy. I was like, I'm the funny guy. I don't like this. I gotta meet who this is. And I finally run into him. I was like, oh, you're the funny guy. Hey, you got a Legend of Zelda lanyard. That's pretty cool. And that was it.
You're all right.
We were all right.
These dumb bitches. I was in charge of these dumb bitches. I want you to know this.
First of all,
and every time
I may be a bitch, but I am not dumb. Or
okay,
there's one of those two. I'm one of those two. I can't remember.
These wonderfully charming.
Everything's debatable. Well, let's carry on.
Look at Ryan. Anyways, we all came together just kind of randomly on the workforce to talk about this stuff, and I think, but outside of Jesse, no offense, Jesse here, but we left you out of this bad boy. Trey and I had actually talked about it in an anime podcast, early on, probably in late 2018, early 2019.
Anime, I am not offended.
It's all good. You love JoJo, so you're pretty much set at this point in the anime fandom.
I feel sorry for One Piece fans.
Yeah. But yeah, we decided
to into the podcast.
We talked about this podcast, and we didn't really do anything about it. We talked about it a lot, and nothing really happened. And Trey moved on and graduated from school, and kind of moved on from there. And then we kind of reconnected after a while, and we were like, let's actually freaking do this. We both had Blue Yeti microphones and time on our hands. Absolutely, just no reason not to. So we actually started making episodes, and that was what was that? Was that early 2020?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know where you get the. You always I had time on my hands. I don't understand that, because anything I bring up, not even anime, I know you're going to be anime, I know you're going to be like, oh yeah, I've seen that 12 times that I've read all the manga, and and I even wrote some fanfic. But I'll bring up just random ass live action shows or dumb movies or YouTube videos, and you'll be like, yeah, I've seen those too. I'm like, how does this man find the time? I work from home. I do all this shit while I'm working. This man
has walked this earth for 1,000 years.
Them stock rooms at Bed Bath be pretty cozy.
I mean, he's got it to a degree. I sneak my stuff in where I can. All right, let's be real. I also stay up a lot later than I really should, if I'm being honest. I should be going as a man of advanced age.
You're old. You can just say it. You're old.
That's a neat way to say
Thank
old.
you. Thank you. I don't have nearly as much gray hair in my beard as you do, you son of a bitch.
Me? I see no gray hair.
I get the same jokes too, Steven. You're good, man.
I'm getting grays.
What it is, you got to experience Chrono Trigger down the line, and we got to experience it when it was released in its original box with animation art by Akira Toriyama. I want you to know that's the reason why I played that game.
How much did you pay for it?
For my copy?
For Chrono Trigger?
I want to say it was $55 after taxes.
Ooh, I paid $9. But go ahead.
I bought
random flex.
I don't appreciate it. But okay. I don't appreciate this shit. Get the fuck out with your mobile port.
I'm sorry. That's all I got.
Z, why don't you tell me what it means to actually buy a game? I'm sorry, Ryan. You go because
let's talk about podcasting.
So you guys started a podcast?
Yes, we. So yes, we actually started this podcast.
Get back on the road.
Fun fact is, I actually started recording this podcast before I knew anything about microphones and soundproofing and just general settings in terms of equalizing, noise gate, that sort of thing. I actually started recording our podcast with my desk and my computer and my microphone, everything set up in my closet. I actually ran it underneath the door, closed it, and like kept all my clothes hanging up, and it actually helped kind of like improve the quality of the audio because I didn't know anything about the difference between condenser mics and the like the cardioid kind of setup of the pattern of recording. I didn't know any of that. So it was a very rough time. Like if you listen to the first, like, what was it? Like 10 episodes, Trey?
Yeah, it's pretty rough and inconsistent because we were getting our feet wet.
It's the best mental image in the world. Oh, it's the best mental image in the world of Steven, like in a closet, like a dark closet with his computer, just rambling about anime for hours on it.
So we chose Country Fried Otaku, and it was a point to be, Texas in anime, and it was kind of something boy. Just be yeehaw. Let me not, but it was yeah. Ooh. So we chose that, but really, Texanime, main, and it didn't really just roll off the tongue well. We didn't really want to stick with it after we kind of went on our hiatus. We both went through moves. I was still down in the coast. I think Steven was moving. I had my son, and after we decided we were settled back down and we were ready to revive the podcast and come back from the hiatus, we talked about it and came up with the Senpai Kouhai Podcast. And it's definitely a little easier to say. If you look up anime, you normally see Senpai Kouhai, so SEO is a little easier on that. It just took a little bit more brain power than let's put a steak on a plate and look like someone took some Rule 34 to it.
How many episodes did you guys do before you ended up changing it or went on hiatus?
15? We did 10 episodes. 10? We did 10 episodes. So we ended on an episode about Final Fantasy VII Remake that we both had bought like at the launch date. And we had both been like deep in this game. I believe actually this is literally
at
right
least 6 inches.
You wish.
That's it.
3. But Trey hadn't had his child yet, which is such a weird thing to say. But we were both pretty much devoted to gaming at that point in time, and I just see his face over there. It's terrible. We were both
that way.
It's the only one he has.
I had my child.
Thank you.
It's the only one he has.
I swear to God, we can't get through anything too serious. This is what I live with.
You're right.
So the point is like the last episode we did was Final Fantasy VII Remake. We were both really heavy into gaming, and it really kind of like took off for us. If when we looked at the numbers, the Final Fantasy VII Remake episode numbers were high, primarily because, and this is something we learned along the way in terms of podcasting and just like along with the content that we liked making. We love talking about games. We love talking about anime, but you do sort of have to stay kind of current with it.
Yeah.
So with us dropping,
the same thing.
Yeah, with us dropping Final Fantasy VII Remake, literally a week, maybe 2 weeks after it was released, it got all kinds of legs. And that's a big part of like when you start out in the process is getting yourself out there. Because there's tons and tons of nerd podcasts. Let's be real. There is. But if you don't have the content to keep up and like get yourself in that frame, you won't be noticed. And I think that's a big part of like networking and like getting the right kind of name and getting the right kind of like social media.
Just having like other podcasters on as guests.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I you guys are new to this, but we're not. We've had let's see. We had Talk Shonen, which is a podcast out of the Northeast. We had Jared and Kyle and those guys on, and they were a blast to talk about quirks from My Hero Academia.
Hey,
I listened to that episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Like, I had a good time talking with those guys. They're a lot of fun. We've done cross promotional episodes, but Trey did an episode with a developer of a Kickstarter game called Bo, and got to ask questions about what it is to like have a Kickstarter and be developers in another country and things like that. And I think that's one of the more interesting sides of being a podcaster is when you really kind of like try to push yourself to new levels. We can definitely talk anime, but like when you kind of put yourself in a position to listen to other people and talk about the same things with other people and talk about things you might not have thought, I think it is a big way to put yourself out there besides just current examples. So
for sure. Yeah.
So anyways, isekais, right?
Yeah, isekais, you...
I guess I got to start by asking Trey.
Oh, God, is this still isekai? Are we running a train on it? I don't. Go ahead.
Well,
Go
no,
ahead.
I didn't know. Like, what were your parents? Were your parents like shot by an isekai in a dark alley, and you swore life against isekais? Like
They got hit by a truck.
What? They got hit by a truck.
They got hit by a truck. Truck-kun got him. Truck-kun got him.
Oh God!
And then I was reborn here in this world. People keep making shows about it. It's awful. It's awful.
I got a question. Go ahead.
I heard just your musings a little bit in our battleship night. I just want to know, where did the hatred come from? Like, why?
There's so really, if you just look at isekai, and I'm sure people would debate it, but there's really just not a lot of difference between isekai to isekai. You have to find the ones that favor on the extremes, and then it's flavored differently. So like if you look at something like, oh, go ahead.
Your Digimon was called as an isekai, and you were not pleased about that.
I'm not pleased about that. That hurts. That hurts me to hear that. I hate
hard
that
disagree
so much.
across all boards. I need you to know so one of the more interesting thing is we do an anime podcast, but we are often at the opposite ends of the spectrum. And one of the reasons why we went with the whole Senpai Kouhai thing is because I'm older by about 10 years and he's younger, and
by about 10 years.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Unga bunga math, am I right?
And hey, these guys had to put the rocks together. I wanted to spell it out for them so they didn't have to bust out the rocks.
We're not a math podcast.
No problem. Anytime.
Good day.
Ain't that the truth?
The MCU stands for Math Cinematic Universe.
The math calculus underlings.
Rip it. God.
What is it? What math calculus UI relevant? Oh my god!
I do see what you're saying. Like, I think a lot of the animes I started with were isekais, and now that I've watched quite a bit of them, which nowhere near like as much as y'all probably or some people listen, but yeah, there's a lot of like just more of the same.
You have to find the special ones that like they have a niche and they go into it. Like
no game,
I
no
stick
life.
heavy on Konosuba.
Yeah. Can you give
like
like
an
an
incestual model? That's great. That
you just said Ryan's magic word, magic name.
That's your magic word, dude. You love no game, no life.
No, you said no. He said Konosuba. I said no game. I said no game, no life. You
I
said
thought
Konosuba.
you were talking about incest.
No, so Konosuba's mine. It sticks so heavy in that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Everyone's fucked up to a certain degree humor.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch all the way through, but it doesn't stick so hard in this isekai world. Everyone's just kind of doing real fucked up stuff. And one I always like to shit on is Overlord. And it recently was starting to become reincarnated as a slime. I got through like half the first season until the power fantasy became too much for me. And I was like, okay,
yeah.
I'm not intrigued by this. This isn't fun for me. I don't see a challenge here. This dude just got ice dragon powers and you command 3 different armies. This isn't fun for me.
So I got a question for you.
I get that.
I have a question for you. Would you
Let
say
me hear it.
JoJo's is a power fantasy?
No, JoJo's is not.
Damn, good answer. You're about to get kicked out of this episode, depending on what your answer is.
Look here, son. I don't know what kind of anime podcast you have, but let me tell you what. No, JoJo's is definitely not.
No answer.
I mean,
no comeback.
Okay, all right. Just in case you did.
Yeah. No, Slime started really good, and that was one of my favorites for a while. Then this last season we saw, it's just kind of getting like really over the top. I still love it. It's kind of fallen down my list a little bit, but we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, but I just binged all of Jobless Reincarnation, and it hit me different because I'd kind of been like sworn off isekais lately anyway, just for that same reason you were talking about. But it hit me way different. Like it actually has like some real emotion to it, and like right when it starts to seem like something's like somebody's OP or something, like it hits you with the harsh reality that like, oh, if you get trapped in a fantasy world, like real shit will happen that you don't have the power to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
The turning point too. I don't this third to last episode was like one of the craziest episodes I've seen of a show in a while. It was really good.
I've heard a lot of good about that one.
It's
haven't got
very
to it
grounded.
Yet. Yeah. That's fun. It's stakes. You know, there's something to lose. You lose your life or you lose whatever's special to the person. That's what you want. Like Overlord didn't really have that through the first two seasons.
And I get that was the point of Overlord, right? Yeah. Like it was supposed to be like an overpowered fantasy, like nobody can fuck with me.
Yeah.
But, it got old after a while. You can't just keep carrying that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole scene. There's a whole scene in that series where he literally starts listing and casting all the different skills he has for like a solid minute and a half to prep for this battle. And that is just like such a like centralized kind of like power fantasy moment in my idea. I know we've just railroaded right into isekai without explaining it in any way whatsoever.
I was really curious about his explanation as JoJo's is a powerhouse, and he didn't finish.
Look. Real quick, small interjection. For those that don't know, isekai is reincarnated in another world or transferred to another world kind of anime genre. A lot of times it comes with a power fantasy. And in the case of Overworld, it comes with the ultimate power fantasy, where you're the biggest badass in your MMO game. It shuts down and you somehow are revived in your MMO as the ultimate badass that you leveled up yourself. So this character basically launches every type of spell possible to make them amazing before a major battle, and then just decimates the enemy. Like it's a power fantasy at its core
every time,
and
every time,
it sells itself that way. So I mean that's one thing. I like isekai that really kind of push us to the verge. Rising of the Shield Hero is probably one of my favorite isekais, if not my favorite isekai that there is out there.
Talking about a challenge.
a challenge like Mushoku Tensei has look, I get the benefit like of the story of Mushoku Tensei. Mushoku Tensei is like one of the longest running series. It's actually the series that kind of like heralded in the more serious isekai genre with like the consequences and the serious and the darkness. But I still hate the main character, so I don't know what to say. I hate him. I hate him, and I love every other character.
He hates himself, so I think
I'm well aware. I'm well aware, and I understand that he grows. But I still hate him, just like I hate Eren from Attack on Titan, and just like I hate that main character from Rent a Girlfriend, because I don't give a fuck about what his name is, because that is also a insufferable series. So. I mean, like, I clearly have strong opinions about this. So,
I mean, it sounds like you watched the entire series. Oh, sorry, Jake. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just like Black Clover.
It sounds like you did it.
Hate that main character. But well, we've hit the 30-minute mark ish point, guys. You guys want to take a break real quick? Pour up a drink, go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, you sexy.
Talk
bitch.
more anime. No. Talk more anime on our pause.
Talk more isekai.
Yes.
The second half.
All right, boys. We're gonna take a short little break.
Let's just fucking go.
And listen to our totally real sponsor. That's gonna be not totally about one of these guys in present in this room tonight. Enjoy.
Have you ever been tired? Have you ever been bored?
Yes.
In this case, Isekai Incorporated. We're going to help you go to a new world. We're going to help you introduce yourself to slimes that you can fuck or eat, whatever you want to do. What would you like, sir?
Hentai!
Absolutely.
Can I get an overpowered power?
Absolutely.
And if I die in my new world, can I just come back rent-free?
Absolutely. Would you like to be able to destroy people with the snap of your fingers? Absolutely, 100%. We can give that to you. And with no down payment. But over the span of your entire life, it will take a little bit of your soul every time you want to do that thing. Anyways, if you are okay with being ridiculed by the goddess of this world, she's also going to follow you around and tell you that's your shit. Absolutely. She's going to pee her pants randomly. Who knows? That's right, folks. If you want to be a part of the Isekai world, as you know it, it's going to be 1-800-696-9696. It's a nice number. You guys are aware of it. But come on in. We want thumbs up across the board. Hit us on Instagram. Hit us on Twitter. Hit us on Patreon. Hit us on everything you know. Hell, just fucking hit us. Let's go. It's Isekai Incorporated. Thank you for coming in.
Okay, so for everybody in the podcast, what is your favorite anime as it stands right now? I'm looking at Z first, Jay second, Ryan third, and
What the
Trey
fuck is
last,
anime?
because I know his is My Dress Up Darling.
So for anybody, like I am probably the least experienced with anime. I'm playing a lot of catch up right now, and so at the moment, because I recently burned through it and finished it, and I'm now rewatching it with my wife because I got her hooked on it. My Hero Academia is kind of like my jam right now. I'm instantly shipping any two characters I see on screen for more than 13 seconds together. Thinking of cosplay, I'm like all buried in this, and like I'm very like once we're done rewatching it, I have to move on to another one, which Ryan recommended, Hunter x Hunter.
Absolutely, great choice.
Do I cosplay?
Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, we have somewhat of a troupe of variants in tights.
Marvel?
Where we all come in tights with different Marvel characters. So Z was Iron Man in tights.
Okay. So
I don't think I've seen this.
I'll link you later.
Please.
Bro,
Please.
there's footage. So Z, like with My Hero Academia, I have to ask because, like, as an anime podcast, I'm all about My Hero Academia. But how's your feelings? How is your feelings of My Hero Academia versus Marvel or even DC in terms of
Marvel?
Marvel?
Oh God, I knew that.
Marvel?
Oh my God, it's like the seagulls from Finding Nemo.
Trey?
Marvel?
Yeah.
Marvel?
We almost did it, boys. We made it almost 50 minutes.
And it wasn't even one of us. It wasn't even one of us that said it.
I had to give it to you. I had to lowball it. But the truth of the matter is that My Hero Academia actually warrants a conversation about superpowers and how they are actually viewed from two different cultures. I actually think this is a fascinating thing. Like, as a fan of Marvel and DC and the traditional like superhero setup, with societies and different things like that, like, how's your view of My Hero Academia with its like a government mandated hero organizations and how they establish themselves with actual storefronts and differing areas that they focus on? Like a good example of this is, like, for those that don't know My Hero Academia, I'm going to go ahead and expand a little bit. There are superhero organizations that are all about solving problems physically and things like that, but there are also superhero organizations that are models and rescue operations and things like that. They are like civil servants. So, like, what's your thought on that in comparison?
So just for clarification, real quick, sorry. Sorry, Z. It's just like if Marvel signed the Sokovia Accords, or the MCU signed this, and the government ruled them, or I guess was the
boys.
Or the boys.
Same shit. Yeah, same shit.
So that's an interesting one. Like it's kind of funny because I align more with what would actually happen in society, more with like the boys, and more with like, I think that's if superheroes did exist, I think it would be, I don't think none of them would be really good gals and dudes, or anything in between. But I as a personally, me, as like my own ideals and everything, I don't like believe in hero worship. I don't believe in like, let's make famous people for the sake of being famous. I feel like I found myself in the actual anime, and like I had to like question, because like these ideals are all by like bad dudes in the anime. Like a lot of Hero Killer Stain's ideals in it, I caught myself like agreeing with some of it, and I was like, "Oh God, he brings up a lot of good points. Oh, am I the baddie? Am I a bad guy?
Am I the baddie?
Am we the baddies?"
Depending on how you look at those tights, you may be the baddie.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
I might be the bad.
We'll find
My
out.
caps have skulls on
I'll
them.
link it to you.
But I honestly think I just don't think it would be as glitzy and glamoury as they make it out. Of course, it's an anime. I fucking get that, but like they don't make it. It's a little unrealistic, but I don't know.
Have you read the manga?
I started it.
Have you gotten to the current chapters?
Like season 6 stuff. Or
are
the latest?
Are we talking about? Have you seen what happens to Deku after the fact of the war arc?
No, not yet.
Okay, then I won't talk about it from that point. But I want you to know that as a fan of comics in general, that the altruistic kind of like always doing the right thing sort of position that the manga really puts itself in for a good long while, outside of the Hero Killer Stain arc, really comes to a head. Like, to not really get into it, it's like too in depth. It starts to question of like what it means to have ultimate power. Like, does it mean always being available? Does it mean always being the person that handles everything? What kind of toll does it take on a person when they are the sole reason for the enemies to attack? They are the sole reason to protect those who are innocent. And I think it's a really, really cool take on superheroes, which is one of the reasons why I think My Hero Academia, while as much, I don't know, like criticism as it deserves, especially in the like first 20 volumes, really has more to say about it. But like, I gotta say, good choice in terms of like
I just
top tier anime.
Well, I just, like I said, I just picked it up. I picked up the first anime I could click on. I see Trey over there. But
it's mid.
Well, no, like I picked one, and I picked one, and I ended up really loving it, and so now it's like on to the next. So I'm in that mode of like I'm getting ready to binge. I just need to stop overscheduling myself, like I do. So yeah.
So what about Jay? What about Jay over here? I'm not letting Trey sneak in here and talking his shit. Jay, what is your favorite anime?
This man rambles for like 20 minutes and then he won't let his co-host talk.
Look,
it's like this on the show too. It's like this on the show too.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll shut my mouth. Trey, present your case.
Just if you guys have heard of this little indie show, Monster Musume. Real good. Yes. Real good little show.
I love it.
You may have heard of it. You may have read it or seen it. Real good, wholesome stuff for the family of the family. Man, I don't even know if I have a favorite anime, honestly, to tell you the truth. I gotcha. I don't know. I love it all. Even isekais. I like isekais. I got you all.
What?
I was like, honestly, you two, the amount of anime that you've watched, I watch a good little deal, right? It's hard for me to say. I know it's not my turn, so I'm not going to go into it. But like, it's hard for me. I just can't believe like if one of you were to say, "Oh, like this is my definitive favorite," I would be very surprised.
Yeah, It's hard because I've just watched a lot.
Like I have like favorites like per genre, right? But like, but anyway, sorry.
That's how it'd have to be. Like, honestly, it was Attack on Titan for a second until I got to this final season. and then now it's not
The final
not.
season.
until
I do
final
love Attack on
season.
Titan.
The final season.
The final season part 99. It was now.
All right,
that's
so
nice.
so we're on to Jay at this point, boys.
This
What is your
motherfucker.
favorite anime?
On paper or officially?
Hey, who's interviewing who here?
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Are we
Whose
really
podcast
let-
is this?
Are we
Goddamn it!
really letting
We
the
gotta-
Senpai Kouhai take over?
Yeah, we just got a bunch of chatty catties in here. We
Hey.
don't know who to take lead, you know?
You know what, Jay? What's your favorite?
I'm glad you
Yeah.
asked. I love JoJo's, but I actually really love Gurren Lagann. That's my top one. And
That is true.
Steven,
You said
now
that.
that I have the board, I have actually. You know what? I'm not going to talk to you right now. Let me.
Children.
I'm kidding. I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you that I finished Fully Cooley over the week. He took his year on his favorite anime. Wow, I am offended. I genuinely wanted to hear.
I'll hear it. Fooly Cooley is really good. He loves
Tell-
Fooly
tell us
Cooley.
Fully Cooley was
Yeah.
amazing. I
He
really
does.
liked it.
He actually got me to
let's
start
let's stop
rewatching
talking
it.
about Fully Cooley when he put his headphones on. So, anyways, JoJo's is
Wow,
amazing.
Fully Cooley.
Yeah,
I
dude.
love-
Oh, I heard my favorite anime of all time. What did you think of it?
I just said I liked it. And
That's
I want to
it?
watch.
You just
and I
liked it?
want to watch the other.
You don't have anything else to feel about it because there is nothing else. Watching the second season or the third season doesn't matter.
Okay,
It
I
has
do have a
nothing to
question.
do.
I do have a question for the anime people here. Why did it remind me a lot of Gurren Lagann?
Because it's made by the same company.
Ah, that makes sense.
So Fully Cooley is a coming of age story, animated and created by Gynex, which actually had the staff members of Studio Trigger before they all separated. And it's 6 episodes with a whole lot of weird metaphorical stories and things like that. Basically, the main character gets hit by this girl who says she's an alien. She's on a Vespa with a Rickenbacker bass guitar. Thank you for that. And it causes him to have an injury on his head, and he has this weird family situation where like he lives with his dad and his grandfather, and his brother has moved to America and left his girlfriend behind, who continues to kind of like harass him to a certain degree. He has no idea what he's doing with his own life. He's pretty young. He's just kind of getting around. But he encounters this alien, supposedly, Haruko, and she hits him in the head with a Rickenbacker bass guitar, and a freaking mech comes out of his head. And hijinks ensue from there, and there's varying stories from that point. All to the music of The Pillows, which is a great indie Japanese band. But you watch the series, and it exudes Studio Trigger energy.
Mm-hmm.
The weird kind of like crazy angular animation, but ultimately it's about a kid growing up and kind of coming to terms with some of the things in front of his head. And he literally battles them, and he battles adulthood and conformity throughout the entire series. Like literally there's an organization called Medica Mechanica, whose buildings are in the city that they live in, and they literally look like irons, and they emit steam, and they are there to kind of iron out everything so it looks the same. And this is one of the reasons I like Studio Trigger, is because a lot of their content goes against the grain of community-based living. So for those that don't know, like a lot of like what Japan operates off of is a mutual kind of community-based living. Everybody gets along as long as they conform to be in the same group. A lot of times what you get from these creators in terms of FLCL and even Studio Trigger is stories about people who break the mold, who want to be individuals and want to actually experience life as individuals. And a lot of times they have to battle in a metaphorical sense to actually enjoy that style of life. And I like that about FLCL. It basically, to me, like FLCL is like the anime form of Catcher in the Rye. It was a story about somebody who didn't want to conform to the way everybody expected to be around them.
Makes sense.
And and it's it does it through music. It does it through weird mecha and shit like that. Like I want you to understand, like, I can identify every motorbike in that anime, every guitar in that anime, and as a matter of fact, the entire final battle is an homage to the original Daikon film, like, anime convention animation that Gainax did back in the day, to a T. Like the bunny suit, the flying around, instead of on a sword, it's on a guitar. It is an homage to being who they are. Like Gainax, the guys who formed Studio Trigger basically made FLCL, and it's kind of like we're heading off on our own, and it's unique. Sorry, I'm getting
wow.
Yeah,
What
I was about to say
weeb.
you just summarized the anime to me that I just finished watching, so I don't think I needed that summary.
Trey, you talk for a bit. I'm tired of dealing with these motherfuckers.
Hey, you
So,
wanna know
Trey,
my favorite
you-
anime?
Holy shit,
Yeah.
Trey,
No.
you're in here?
Yeah.
Wait, Trey, when did you
I
get in here?
actually do.
Oh my gosh, Ryan.
It's
What's
okay. It's
what do
okay.
you like?
It's okay, Steven. He gets mean when he drinks.
Here you go.
Ryan, what is your favorite anime?
Okay.
For
Hey,
fuck's sake.
gun to my head, if you really like made me pick one, unfortunately it's one we've already talked about, so I'm not going to go into it, but it'd be Konosuba. After that, dude, it's so fucking hard, man. There's so many.
Same.
Hunter x Hunter was the one that really like got me like, okay, I'm just going to watch every fucking anime, right? And then the most obscure one that like nobody's fucking seen that I adore and I cosplayed it was on Netflix, of all things. It was Children of the Whales. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Talk about a throw, man. Like, good shit.
Dude, I actually God, I can't. It's been so long. It's been like 6 years. I can't remember the character's name, but
It's a pretty
he has, like,
one.
the long blue hair. I cosplayed that guy, and nobody knew who the fuck it was.
Is it on your Instagram?
Yeah, it is. No, dude, but currently, right now, it is probably Jobless Reincarnation. Like, I'm hooked. I can't wait to read all the light novels and shit, man. Like,
No.
Oh, Steven,
No,
you
can't tell them no.
no. It's
You can't tell them
my
no.
dress up, darling.
It's-
I know it's my dress up.
but I watched
darling.
this more recent. I finished My Dress Up Darling last week, and I just watched all of this week.
Oh, I see.
No.
Recency bias. I like that. It keeps it fresh. Keeps it fresh.
No, My Dress Up Darling was fucking amazing. I
That's
like
enough.
so
That
many
is enough.
fucking emotions. Yeah, no. Stick with me, Trey. You know how good it was.
I know.
You just don't want to admit it. It was most
Look
like
how broken he is.
soul touching.
Look how broken he
like,
is.
heartwarming,
know.
not heartwarming.
So,
heartwarming.
I haven't
So
disputed
from
it's
the-
great.
for the uninitiated, My Dress Up Darling, is it what kind of anime is it?
It's a horror. It's about this. It's almost like the Texas
What's
Chainsaw
that?
Massacre, honestly.
I
It's
wanna
about
say-
this
I wanna
guy.
say-
I don't believe you.
I want to say rom-com.
No,
I mean, it's slice of life.
No,
but
stop. I want Trey to explain My Dress Up Darling.
Yeah.
I have this. So I watched My Dress Up Darling twice. Actually, it was really good. So it's about this girl, Marin, and so she comes to this high school, and there's only like it's a real local high school, only 10 students. And the first night they're there for a school play held by 3 of the students. And all of a sudden the doors lock, lights go out. One of the kids is dead on the stage. And they have to figure out who killed this kid. And while they're working on figuring this out, the lights keep going out every episode. There's a blackout and another dead kid. And every time one of the kids die, their skin goes missing. And they finally get a glimpse of the kid that's killing them. The 3rd episode, they're wearing the skin. The darling is dressing up in their skin. It's horrifying. And
Did
finally,
you already use this bit in your podcast?
I'm making this up as I go. I'm making this up.
Absolutely not.
I figured. I was like, "Who's the victim here?" I was sitting there listening to you, like trying to pinpoint who was being laughed at their own expense, and then about halfway through, I'm like, "I think it's fucking me." My final thoughts. Hey guys, it was awesome to have you on the show. By the way, it legit was like chaotic as fuck. But I've like laughed through the entire fucking thing.
That's a good episode.
I've been writing down like snippets of what I could remember as the chaos went, trying to like, oh, I should watch that one. I should watch that one. But I'm probably just gonna end up hitting you up after anyway.
Absolutely.
But no, thank you for coming and hanging out with us newbies for a bit. So
absolutely, dude, absolute blast, man. Like you said, dude, as crazy as it was, this might top the Star Wars episode for me as my favorite one. This was a lot of fun, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
I don't know. Episode 10 was pretty fun for me.
10 was fun. 10 was a lot of fun. And this almost met the same time marker.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. So Jay, what are your final thoughts
on you being here? I don't know. I don't really appreciate you taking over. I really don't.
God
I was supposed to be the one.
You know what?
Damn it, Steven.
Hey, you know what, Steven? You know what? You be quiet. That's my job. So, Jay, what are your final thoughts?
Thank you. My thought is, I don't like Steven coming in here slamming his dick down, thinking he can take over this place. I find that disrespectful.
I heard this was a Marvel episode, so you Marvel D's nuts. Is that what you're saying?
You've been holding that one in the chamber for an hour and a half.
Absolutely.
If you say yes, no, you weren't supposed to say yes. No, you lost the respect for that. No, we're gonna work on this. We're gonna work on this.
Look, I have a closing argument. For the episode.
What's another half hour?
Yeah.
Wow.
My throat hurts. I need to go to bed. My throat hurts.
You need to stop sucking so much dick, Trey.
Jay, wrap us up.
All right, boys. Look, it was great to have you guys. I'm sorry Steven took over the first half hour of the podcast.
And the second
third, and our unexpected third half. So, anywho,
love you, Steven.
Wow,
it was great having you guys. Wow. We hope to have Trey on here next time. So,
thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
By the way, Jay saw Sonic today, but we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we didn't even get to talk about missing Sonic today, but Sonic 2 was amazing.
I'd love to talk about that.
Well, blame your co-host.
No, we're going to talk about Isekais.
Blame your co-host.
Y'all did this shit to yourself. I'm just saying.
All right. Love you guys.
That's it.
Y'all too.
Love you too.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, wait. Real quick. Plug yourself up real quick. Y'all haven't even plugged yourselves in.
Oh, yeah. Plug it.
Oh, yeah.
Trey, plug
Trey, do it.
Hey guys,
get some voice lines in here.
This is Trey. I've been here the whole time. So you can follow us on all social media, at Senpai Podcast. Where you can also listen to our podcast, Senpai Kouhai Podcast. We're clearly an anime and gaming podcast. If you like any of those things, anime, it's all we talk about pretty much. So check us out on any mainstream service for your podcast. We'll be there. Hope to see you soon, and we hope to talk to you guys soon, and we'll fight y'all again on land, sea, air, whatever y'all want to fight.
Will you though?
We'll see you guys soon.
Or will Steven fight us?
And and as you know, you can find us at Chaotic Pubcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to dumb idiots talk for hours.
Oh my god, my cheeks hurt.
My
cheeks hurt.
My throat feels swollen. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I've said.